Hello, this is Lori Killow. Before I get into how to write a lesson plan, let me throw out this disclaimer. There are many, many ways to design a lesson. You may have learned one way in CHD 118 or 145 or 146, and now I'm going to throw something new at you. This is not to confuse you. This is to give you a wide range of experiences with lesson planning. As a professional, you'll have to decide what works best for the children in your care and you. Before we begin, let me show you what lesson planning is not. This is not a lesson plan. It is a daily schedule. Some teachers plan a series of random activities to keep kids occupied, and I suppose they hope that the kids are going to learn something along the way. That's not lesson planning either. That's babysitting. A lesson plan is one lesson plan on one day. It may last for 15 minutes or maybe a half hour or so. We deal with young children with short attention spans, so we must keep our lessons short and interactive. This isn't high school where you have a 90-minute block. A unit plan is a larger topic that you plan to teach over a much longer period of time. It will have multiple lessons and multiple lesson plans within it. You might do a 26-week unit on the letters of the alphabet, covering one letter per week. That's one unit, but within that unit you would have several lessons, 26 of them at least, one for week 1 for letter A, one for week 2, that would be letter B, and so forth and so on. According to Webster's dictionary, intentional teaching means acting with specific outcomes or goals in mind for the learner's development and learning. To be intentional means to act purposefully with a goal in mind and to have a plan for accomplishing it. Intentional teaching means a teacher's plan with specific goals for the children in their care. They set up the environment with those goals in mind. They understand the child development. Intentional teachers have a wide range of instructional strategies and know what strategies work best for what type of academic or developmental concepts they're working on. The first step is to determine what it is you should be teaching, and that comes from the standards. We don't get to make that up out of our head and do a unit on dolphins because we happen to like dolphins. We use standards. For really young children, you may use the Department of Social Services Developmental Milestones as a guide, a place to get your standards from. For preschool, it's usually the Virginia's Foundation blocks for early learning. And of course, for grades K and up, it's the state SOLs. On this slide, you see some standards taken from the Virginia's Standards of Learning. I use these in my example as where to start with my lesson planning. So these are the standards. From those standards, I generalized them and came up with an overall goal for my unit. From here, I'll write specific learning objectives. There are 5 things to look for in a learning objective: the condition, who the objective is for, the observable behavior or skill you're looking for. That has to be something you can see, hear, touch, smell. How it can be measured to know whether the objective is being met, and then finally it should be written in positive terms. Let's look at this behavioral objective for Chris. There is no condition. The who we know is Chris, and the observable behavior is to stop being mean, but that's hard to observe. Exactly what am I supposed to be looking for? What does stop being mean look like? It's very unclear. And how do we measure that? And finally, no, this is definitely not stated in positive terms. This is better. The condition is while on the playground. The who is still going to be Chris, and the observable behavior is using friendly terms and actions, which is observable and measurable. And yes, it is stated positively. The teacher can use a frequency count to count the times Chris uses friendly words and behaviors. After several days or weeks, the teacher can compare the numbers to see if that number is going up. Look at this objective. What necessary parts are here and which are missing? Stop the video and see if you can figure it out for yourself. Okay, the condition is missing. Who is missing? How success will be measured is missing. In addition, the child must do 2 things. Identify the food groups and then sort them. That should be written as 2 separate objectives. This is better. The child might be able to meet one objective and not the other, and that will guide your instruction going forward. Which ones do you need to work on going forward? It isn't until after all that is done that you can begin to plan learning activities that will help the students be successful in meeting those objectives. Questions? Please post them in the virtual cafe.